Hello and welcome to today's event, SAP Business AI for Next Gen Innovation with S/4HANA. If you don't have the chat or comment area opened up, please go ahead and do so now. Just look down below if you are on your phone or to the right-hand side of your screen if you're viewing us on your desktop for an area to leave your comments. This is where we'll be asking you questions and feedback. We want it to be a two-way street where it's truly interactive during the time we spend together during this session. Please feel free to share any ideas or questions that may pop up as we go through this session. In fact, let us know right now where you are joining us from. And as you all are doing so, I would like to formally introduce myself. My name is Monique and I'm your host for today's live event. It's my pleasure to guide you through our engaging panel discussion featuring distinguished speakers and an esteemed audience on SAP Business AI for Next Gen Innovation with S/4HANA. This session will explore the transformative potential of AI within the SAP ecosystem, focusing on how businesses can drive innovation, enhance decision-making, and deliver personalized experiences using SAP Business AI. Today, we'll cover an introduction to SAP Business AI, and its integration with S/4HANA, success factors, and Ariba. Real-world use cases of AI-powered automation and predictive analytics in industries such as supply chain, finance, and HR. Inspiring success stories showcasing measurable outcomes from leveraging SAP Business AI, insights into the future of AI-driven business processes, and best practices for implementation. Industry-specific applications such as predictive demand forecasting and finance automation that deliver tangible business value. Whether you're looking to streamline operations, optimize decision-making, or achieve next-generation innovation, this session will provide actionable insights to help your organization stay ahead in the AI-driven era. I first want to bring to your attention Pronix Inc, a distinguished member of the SAP partner ecosystem renowned for its SAP application services and over a decade of expertise in SAP application management. Pronix is proud to announce a live panel discussion featuring industry experts. All right, so we will now introduce our distinguished speakers. First up, we have Angel Cruz Parilla, Rohit Dwivedi, and Matt Linville. Each of them are a beacon of expertise in the SAP landscape. First up, Angel, welcome. Please let us know a bit about yourself.
Hello, Monique. Hello, everyone. Rohit, Matt. Nice being here again. Nice seeing you, Monique, again. So I've been here a couple of times already, so maybe some of the audience already knows me. So I'll be brief. So Angel Cruz Parrilla, I am part of SAP Product Engineering. I'm a VP for Grow with SAP, focus on S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition. I've been working on the solution on Public Edition for around 7 years, and overall 25 years working with SAP solutions, focused normally on the ERP. I'm based out of Denver, Colorado. I'm very happy to be here.
All right, thank you so much, Angel. And yes, it's such a pleasure to have you here again. Next, we have Rohit. Rohit, how are you, my friend? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Great. I'm doing great, Monique. Thank you. And hello from my side to everyone joining, my colleagues here. Great to be here. My name is Rohit Dwivedi, and I am with SAP for now 20 plus years, working on the domain of supply chain manufacturing. I currently lead the team for manufacturing and supply chain in the unit called Premium Engagements, which deals with our top customers in the SAP ecosystem. We also work with a lot of the partners, so great to be here talking to all of you, and happy to join the discussion around the exciting topic of AI.
All right, thank you so much. And last but not the very least, we have Matt. Hello, Matt, how are you? And tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Matt Linville, and I am the IT director for Crossfire Aggregate. It's a small aggregate company in Durango, Colorado, and I specialize mostly in integrations and using AI with SAP Concur.
All right, thank you. So thank you to you all for being here and let's dive into some of the most critical questions surrounding SAP Business AI and its impact on next-gen innovation. First question, Angel, we're going to kick it off with you. So let's kick off with you tackling key trends in SAP Business AI. Could you start by sharing the key trends in AI that are influencing the evolution of SAP Business AI, particularly within the S/4HANA ecosystem?
Absolutely, Monique. My pleasure. So, of course, we all know the hype that has been out there for the last year and a half, 2 years on Gen AI. But here at SAP, we've been working with AI, especially machine learning, for years. No? So the way we tackle current situation and the needs from our customers and how we bring this artificial intelligence live and bring the value out of what we call SAP Business AI is a threefold. The first one is what we call embedded artificial intelligence. And this is artificial intelligence that are embedded in the processes at the line of business level. So we are basically automating a lot of steps of the process. So the process is very efficient and the manual intervention of the users are limited to the exception. So with that, we get a lot more productivity, and of course that enhances the results and decreases the costs of the customer running those processes. That is one. The second one is more focused on this latest trend on ChatGPT and Gen AI in general, where we are bringing Gen AI into our processes through what we call SAP Joule, our conversational AI. SAP Copilot, if you wish. No? And that has been, of course, ramping up has ramped up over the last 2 years, and the value has been tremendous to our customers. And we have now, not only in SuccessFactors, we also have it in S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition available, and that is mainly where our focus in because we are seeing such a great value coming to the customer. Just to give you an example, we have right now around 80% of the most used apps transaction within the cloud ERP enhanced by conversational AI, enhanced by this Gen AI SAP Copilot. And that is applying to over 300 million SAP users, and is making them an average of 20% more productive through many things that we can talk. I think we'll touch base in the next questions. So that conversational AI and that ability to bring that natural language and shorten the time to value on search for apps, on how do I run this process and so on, and the collaboration is definitely one of our focus on the trend that we are seeing, what every customer asks for. No? And the third one is working with our partners. And we have also two different ways to interact with those partners. First is strategic partners, for example, Microsoft. As you may know, Microsoft has Microsoft Copilot. Right now, in 2025, you will be able to work with SAP Copilot Joule and Microsoft Copilot in a seamless way. So you will be able to interact between your Microsoft applications and your SAP solutions like it's just one together. Everybody will have, of course, the security around its solutions, but you will have access to that data that brings that relevancy, that specific answer for the user based on their data and the circumstances. That is not something that an external AI could bring. And the second one, like for example with Pronix, we do have partners that are developing their own Gen AI solutions, and those are, for those to interact with those, what we do is we go through our business technology platform, SAP BTP, and then we infuse those solutions, those add-ons, if you wish, third-party add-ons for us, no, into the processes to extend further these processes. And that can be for a specific step in a specific process that's very focused on one industry, or just a big part of a functionality that the SAP standard Cloud ERP doesn't cover in this cloud mindset and a modular approach that we have. And then that's what it gets externalized to keep compartmentalizing that part of the process. So the focus continues to be on the end-to-end of the process, whether it's in ERP, outside of the ERP in SAP solutions, or even outside of the SAP solutions in these third-party solutions. So that's currently how we are tackling and the three dimensions of SAP Business AI.
Thank you so much for such a thorough breakdown, especially with the Joule Copilot and the fact that it's going to be integrating to Microsoft Copilot. So that's amazing. Rahit and Matt, do either of you have anything to add? Rahit, I'll go with you first.
Yeah, sure. So as Angel, I think, summarized it perfectly, the whole portfolio, right? I would like to add a little bit more from what I'm hearing working with our customers, because we do a lot of these strategy and information and architectural sessions with our customers. So what we are hearing from them is to bring the technology where the data lies. I think all of us would agree, right? Like, where the biggest problem with machine learning, with AI, is to have the right set of data, and then bring the technology to the data is much more easier than bringing the data to the technology, right? Especially in the cloud world. And yes, we are listening to our customers, as Angel rightly pointed out, the three-tiered architecture, whether it's basically running in the cloud or with the business processes. SAP's biggest strength is to bring the AI technology to its processes, right? So the embedded technology, or embedded AI as we call it, is going to be a game changer, and especially with power of Joule and the copilots, with integration with our partners like Microsoft and others. I think it will be a game changer in terms of what you could do in the purview of the process. Because what we are seeing now is, the customers are looking for potential in terms of optimization, or it could be in terms of simulation capabilities, which could be a game changer for them if they take a process which takes days or even several hours to run, and then condense it into a few minutes or less than an hour, right? So there's a lot of such processes, a lot of such optimization which we are looking at. And obviously with the Copilot Joule, I think one thing which we all can agree is it is extremely smart in getting the data from multiple sources, summarizing it and presenting it in the right ways, right? So I think that is a really powerful technology which we are really excited for. And if you ask me what I look forward to is the agentic technology which is yet to come, because I can't wait for where Joule can talk to other agents and can let the other agents do the job for us. So that is another area which I'm super excited about, where SAP is heading towards.
All right,
Matt?
thank you so much.
Sure.
Oh, go ahead, Rahit. I'm sorry, did I cut you
Oh,
off?
I don't. No, that's it from my end.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing it, especially what's going on in your world. And like you said, I think a lot of people are starting to realize, especially opening up to the AI world, is the time efficiency, especially dealing with data. So thank you so much for sharing that. And then Matt, anything you would like to add?
I would just like to add down to that, yeah, how you can compress your schedule and really maximize what you're getting out of it. We've taken tasks that normally take a team a week to 2 weeks and condensed it down to an hour in some aspects. And it's higher quality work, I feel like, and the accuracy is way higher compared to that human error factor. And then the generative and the copilot is also going to be a very I think, turning point in it, because just being able to produce reports or see your predictive analytics and see, I have a shortage in a supply in this area, and my automatically can be agile and respond to that need and get into the lower market and capitalize on the cost savings there. It's huge.
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. Thank you so much. And in fact, we'll continue with this next question to you, addressing it first, Matt. So our next question is about enhancing decision-making with AI, and how does SAP Business AI leverage predictive analytics to enable better decision-making across different business functions? Could you provide any specific examples?
Yeah, so we use mostly what I've used it for so far is with SAP Concur and integrating into our ERPs and building those reports. And one of those things with our employees is we use it for our fuel reports, and we can analyze those fuel reports and look for anomalies. Like if we're seeing fuel trends on the weekends when it's a holiday weekend, no one's working, we can say, why is this occurring, and reach back to the employee and say what happened and get the explanation. And then also just watching the costs and setting limits, and then preparing the reports for the employees who aren't necessarily interested in creating the report. They just want to monitor it and then click done and be done with it, right? So having the AI do that for the employee and then just allowing them to review it has been one of our biggest time savers and cost savers, because now they're not sitting there creating the report, they're just reviewing it, submitting it, and then it's going on to the next step. So that's the biggest thing I've used in it so far, predictively, and then just watching trends and how we're spending.
All right, thank you so much. And in fact, this question, and my apologies, was for you, Rahit. So Rahit, if you could also add as well, but thank you for the example, Matt, because it was going to pass on to you next. But Rahit, how can you add to this question?
Sure. I think Matt had some really good points, what he shared. Predictive analytics, in my way, in my view, is basically kind of a pretty broad subject, right? Like, and I think all of us are pretty much aware of where predictive analytics came from, right? So if we kind of sit back and take like the broader view, right, of this whole sort of the machine learning, AI, advanced analytics space, right? So predictive analytics is a very specific branch of advanced analytics, right? And all of us can agree like what some of the benefits of it are. And SAP has been using, I would say, predictive analytics from a very, very long time, right? So we started even before the AI wave kicked in. SAP has been using predictive analytics for a variety of different areas, and the one of the scenarios which I can think of on top of my mind is predictive maintenance. I think most of you might have heard about move from corrective or time-based maintenance to more of a predictive maintenance, right? And the options or the optimization potential it provides. And the whole idea around taking the analytics, taking the data from several different sources, combining it into a model, which can then predict basically based on supervised or unsupervised modeling. It can then predict exactly what the next set of steps are going to be, right? And what we have seen, especially with applications which are using, like, as I said, predictive maintenance, if you give it the right data set, like the failure modes, if you give it like exceptions as and when it has happened in the life cycle of an equipment, it is accurately able to predict by around 95% of the time when the next failure is going to happen, right? Or it could basically say how much time is remaining for an asset's life cycle, or how long the asset has been available and what kind of maintenance will it require, right? And I personally am working with a lot of asset intensive companies around North America, but also seeing this across the globe. This has like tremendous potential of saving enormous amounts of time, resources, but the capital as well, right? Because I would say a normal asset intensive company spends like billions of dollars just in maintaining these assets, from the fear of letting it fail, because once the failure happens, the turnaround time is pretty large, right? So I would say machine learning with predictive analytics is great. This has been there for a long time, but I think the future is even more exciting to me, because the future is where we are looking at AI, generative AI, powering some of the predictive analytics, right? So the models would run in itself, but what generative AI can do is take the outcome of these models and generate data. For example, in the scenario which I mentioned about predictive maintenance, it can not just tell you that particular equipment is about to fail. It can automatically create a maintenance request or a maintenance notification, assign it to a technician, and then get the job done, right? So that to me, and then provide all the relevant context in terms of what really happened with the asset, what are some of the failure codes which was observed, and provide all that context to the technician to work on. And to me, that is a game changer, because right now we go with or we basically rely on tribal knowledge, in certain cases expertise of one technician over the other, and so on. But all of that can be now process driven and can really be a game changer going forward. So that's basically what I wanted to add in terms of like what we are looking at from from predictive analytics, but merging this technology now with generative AI. And the future, I think, is pretty bright in my view.
Yes, most definitely. I'm loving the conversation so far, and especially with you all addressing like what's coming into the future. I just want to throw this question to you, Angel, in case if you wanted anything to add based on what Matt and Rahith have responded to already.
Yeah, and thank you, Monique. Rohit and Matt covered most of it. I think the only thing that I would build up on is, of course, is Gen AI, right? The conversational AI and our SAP Joule, right? With this tool, obviously, the instant gratification is that data retrieval and actionable insights are much faster. So you just need to type in natural language, and you're gonna get that information in seconds instead of having to go back and forth into applications or anything. No? The second thing is and Rohit touched base on this a little bit, the access to a unified and homogeneous set of data structures across the SAP Business Suite. It gives you the ability to bring all that data together and bring the best answer for your entire process, not just ERP, not just one line of business, not just one certain process. So one example has been live for over, I guess, a year and a half, which is in SAP Analytics Cloud. We call it Just Ask, which is a function, a search like you would find in Google, where you just ask naturally, what is my margin for this product, for this country in 2024? And it would immediately give it to you. It would make it actionable. It would suggest next actions. It would suggest next questions. It allows you to do simulations. What if I increase the price in $1? What should I do to increase the revenue in certain amount or the margin? So those things and the ability to create that, as Rohit was saying, predictions, those simulations in the future based on those things for you to choose what's better for the company is really incomparable. It's a winning combination, and we are all going in that direction. And I think at all levels at SAP, which is extremely exciting.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you so much for adding that, Angel. Next up, we would like to address AI in finance automation. Finance is in my background, so I'm very interested to hear about this. So Matt, finance automation is a significant area of focus for many organizations. How is SAP Business AI transforming processes like invoice management and financial forecasting?
Yeah, so we use forecasting very heavily in our company, and we've been able to use that along with the invoice. It's almost become touchless when AI is now processing those invoices, where you guys had talked about how it can almost do it automatically. It extracts it with the OCR, pulls it in, sends that to our ERP, and then we're able to take that to the ERP and then process the reports. The forecasting, excuse me. So it can take into the external market factors. It can look outwards, outside of our realm, something where we're maybe in a blind spot, and bring that data in and allow us to see it, which has really been beneficial for predicting costs on fuel and then managing those forecasts on our construction projects to make sure we maximize our profit on every step that we're taking.
All right, thank you so much for sharing that. And then Angel, would you like to address this as well with finance automation?
Yeah, and I think Matt hit it on the head, right? Because for example, we kept adding add-ons that are specific, for example, in this case for account receivable, especially on what Matt was talking about. It is an add-on that is not included in the Grow with SAP base, but it is, for example, in the Grow with SAP Premium and one of the packages that we have for the office of the CFO, which is the CAS application for account receivable and what we call intelligence automation matching. So then with that, and I'm going to get my facts right, I think I have them here. We see our customers getting over 70% reduction in the matching effort of this AR, 0.5% reduction in days in sales understanding, days sales understanding, and 90% automated matching for receivable items. So it really brings that, as I was saying at the beginning, right? It decreases the interaction, the human interaction to the minimum, to the exception. And then with that, as Matt was saying in the first or the second question, we are reducing the human error as well. So it's not that we are replacing humans with these processes, we are just having them dedicated to what really adds value rather than matchings, for example, that we can do now with this technology.
Thank you for saying that, because as we all know, that's like the biggest fear. That's what media is throwing at us. Oh, we're going to get replaced, you know? So I thank you for addressing that head on. And before we move on to the next question, I just want to say thank you to everyone who have asked questions already. If you haven't done so, please go ahead and do so now. We will dedicate time to address as many questions as possible. And maybe at times I might be able to throw one in as we're talking about a particular topic or question. So if you're watching this on your phone, there's an area down below. And if you're watching this on a desktop or a computer, it's on the right-hand side of your screen. So thank you so much, because we have quite a few questions that have come in thus far, but I just want to encourage those who have not or kind of on the fence on doing so. So the next question we want to talk about is this. We all love to see and hear success stories, especially those that showcase transformation. Angel, could you share a real world success story of an organization that implemented SAP Business AI and the impact it had on their operations and outcomes?
Absolutely. And just start saying that we have more than 24,000 customers that are now benefiting from Business AI. They're creating new internal processes based on these part of the processes, steps that are now automated. They're enhancing all the data insights, the way we were describing earlier, with these actionable insights and full visibility across the suite. And of course, that is increasing, augmenting the productivity of the users, but also the entire organization. So I wanted to mention one customer. It is an industrial manufacturing company out of Germany, which, by the way, was implemented with Grow with SAP, so S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition, in a little over 4 months, because we are also not only leveraging this technology, Gen AI and SAP Joule, for the end users, but also for our partners and the implementers. In this case, for example, we are working on SAP Joule for consultants, something that is going to be helping the consultants find the right configuration point with just searching. Example, I want to create a new warehouse, or I want to create a new, whatever it is, cost center. They will be able to just search, and it's going to direct them fast. And also SAP Joule for developers, where Joule is going to be able to generate a drafted, if you wish, ABAP code for the functionality that you're looking for. And then the consultant, of course, will then take, or the developer in this case, will add their value added and also the knowledge of the business to tailor that. So that is all going to shorten this time to value and the implementation. So in this case, for example, as I was saying, this German industrial manufacturing company, we implemented in 4 months, and they were implemented. The scope was financials, and it was also operational. So it was also procurement, sales, I think even service management for them. I'm part of manufacturing, light manufacturing, and they have been live now for, I guess, a year. And let me also get these facts right, because I'm going to mention a few. They are experiencing, and I'm just reading here, 50% time reduction to access insights. And this is fueled by SAP Signavio Process Intelligence, by the way. 25% business data analysis and visualization, which is what I was mentioning earlier with SAP Analytics Cloud, SAC. 15% reduction in the time spent on processing manual transactions. through these insights, because as I mentioned earlier, Joule is going to is allowing you to take the next step, ask the next question, or take the next action, so you don't have to go and search. And then of course, when we go into all those additional functionality that Joule brings in terms of searches, they're experiencing 95% faster informational searches, and that is not only within the SAP solutions or your ERP. You can also go to SAP Help and get external information, and 90% faster execution of the navigation and transactional tasks. Why? Because all that searching and going from tab to tab and clicking and filling out, those are streamlined by Joule. So I think this is a good example of what our customers are experiencing, and almost kind of on the average of what we are seeing. I wanted to mention this one not only because the benefits that they are seeing, but also because of the incredible time to value for this implementation, as I said, in rather 4 months, which years ago, and I've been, as I said, implementing in the ecosystem and in SAP this for 25 years, it would have being impossible. Now that is possible, and the value to the customers is tremendous.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Angel. Wow, 50%, that's huge. So thank you so much for sharing that. Rohit, let's hear your success story.
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty excited about this topic, Monique, and I think great story, which which Angel shared here as well. I'll just add upon that. And this was a particular story which got published recently in CIO.com, and it actually became one of the finalists in the SAP Innovation Award for 2024. So I'm really proud about this particular customer. And let me tell you the scenario, and then I guess you'll relate. But I would say, I think this will be something which Matt particularly would like, because he was hinting a little bit towards this automated document processing a little bit, right? So this customer is a very large oil and gas and energy producer in Canada, Suncor Energies. And they have been working with us on the whole digital transformation, but also specifically looking for ways for automating their processes, right? As you know, with S4HANA, there's a lot of benefits which comes in from the embedded analytics, but also with the power of HANA. But I think the customer was also looking at how can they expedite the end-to-end process with regards to their automation for invoices, but also for tax processing or tax automation, right? The intercompany taxes. So it is a particularly a three-way match scenario, if you know what I mean, like with purchasing, sales, and then these documents most of the time coming in from the suppliers in a paper-based format, PDF format, and so on. And what we did was basically automated that whole process, but using generative AI capabilities of document extraction, right? So what we have done there is used SAP BTP, business process automation, along with the document extraction services to get the data from all these unstructured sources. Like it could be like PDFs, emails, and so on. And then with almost around 98% accuracy, be able to process those documents within SAP and post the information from these documents into the relevant whatever transactions within SAP, right? So it could be your purchasing information, it could be the sales information, or it could be like pure tax information based on certain defined rules. And these rules can be basically built on top of BTP, or can reside in S4HANA as well. In this case, these were be built on the business technology platform, right? And this customer went live with this solution where now all these invoices along with automated tax processing is happening within with the SAP BTP or business process automation. And then it continues to post this information into SAP. And the customer actually did a very nice testimony. We can share this with our with the audience here as well. But yeah, they reported like almost a saving of 1.8 million per year just by automating and just by reducing the amount of effort which they have been putting into this kind of intertracks automation aspects. And they also reported a accuracy of 98%, which was phenomenal in my from my point of view, right? So this is an absolutely great use case, and the great thing is the automation runs 24 hours a day, whereas before this they had people working 3 shifts, and then like tremendous amount of effort which went into kind of doing this analysis of what documents and what information needs to be posted and what process. So I think this is one of the great cases. And as I said, like this was published in CIO.com magazine recently, and also won the 2024 SAP Innovation Awards, or was one of the finalists, I would say, right? So so definitely a really good use case for what we can, and we are seeing more and more of these kind of document processing topics coming in for other lines of businesses as well, like purchasing, sales, and so on. And I think it has a lot of potential for SAP, but also for customers to automate things which are really tedious to do.
All right, another great statistic, saving 1.8 million and then 98%. Wow, that's amazing. So thank you so much for sharing that, Rohit. And then what about you, Matt? What success story that you can share with us, please?
There's a couple, so it's not a success story yet. It's something we're hoping will be a success story. We're looking to automate our inventory system with our gravel pits so we can track in real time what our stockpiles are. So we're using some drones that fly over the pits, and they measure the amount of piles that are in there, and that reports back to our ERP system, and we're hoping to pull that out, and we can keep that data live as possible, but then also predict where we might need. So if we're seeing a lot of 3/4 ABC being sold, we'll know that this is a trend we're going at this time of year. So next year, or even the next quarter, we can say, look, this is something we need to work on, because we need to move a crusher here. We have a lot of logistics that we have to move, heavy equipment, get there, and we can prepare for that better. So that's one thing I kind of took out of that. And then the consulting, which is another great, where you can just build reports. You can ask it to, I need a report, see this, and you can explain what you need, and it'll automatically write that report for you and pull that data, which is amazing. We used to have to pay a SQL developer and wait for them to get back to you. So it's definitely speeding all of that up.
All right. Well, even though it's not a success story yet, be sure to keep us updated on that. And hopefully we'll have you on here again so you can share the transformation when it actually happens. So
that'd be awesome.
Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much, Matt. All right. So next we're going to talk about, and this is right in your wheelhouse, Rohit, supply chain management. You know, supply chain management is often complex. So let's talk about supply chain optimization with AI. And Rohit, I would love for you to address this question. How does SAP Business AI streamline operations and enhance efficiency through predictive capabilities?
Sure, Monique, as you said, this is really close to my heart, so I can go on and on and on, depending on how much time we have. But kind of let me get to the chase, right, about supply chain. And as you said, like I think the only time when I saw supply chain in the top of the headlines was during the pandemic, where everything was being stuck, or everything was being slowed down. And we have seen like supply chain featuring in the news, right, every time. And even now, I think a lot of our viewers and would also agree that supply chain is one of the most complex areas when we look at how multiple countries are collaborating, and with all the different issues, whether it's geopolitical, with climate, with everything else. It's a pretty tricky topic, right? Especially when we talk about global supply chains. But from an SAP point of view, I would say what SAP has been focused on is looking at an autonomous supply chain, a resilient supply chain, and an autonomous supply chain, and the steps which it could take to make it more resilient and more autonomous, right? And what do I mean by resilient and autonomous is to basically make sure that there is enough adequate resiliency within the supply chains in terms of planning, in terms of manufacturing, in terms of delivery, that the customers at the end are, or the suppliers at the end are not impacted, right? And it could be any particular party within the supply chain, and depending on what areas they are looking to optimize, the metrics can basically differ. But I've seen a lot of changes, which is currently ongoing with regards to how supply chains used to work in the past, and how they are functioning right now with the information and the amount of data which we have, along with the capabilities like predictive analytics, generative AI, and so on and so forth. But I think the future is even more brighter, right? But let me take some examples of where we are right now. And I think all of us can agree that the biggest topic, or one of the biggest topics in supply chain, is planning. And planning often takes a lot of time in terms of like getting the right input, be it the order data, be it the forecast from the past years, or the social trend data, and so on, right? And I think this is a use case which is specifically meant for a model, like a machine learning model or a predictive analytics model, to solve, right? And then come up with certain outcomes. And SAP has already done it, be it like in the demand planning or inventory optimization, or even later, like when we look at things where we are looking at the actual distribution of creating the supply plan, right? But I think what the game changer now, which is going to, or which we are working on, and we have some of the use cases already out, is the whole capability of simulation. And I think Angel hinted on this earlier. The generative AI as a technology and its ability to come up with simulations has been missing. And this is particularly exciting in the world of planning. For those of us who work on the planning, simulation capability is huge, right? Because once you identify where the bottlenecks are, be able to resolve and come out with a certain simulation as to what is going to happen. So you're basically seeing different futures, right, of where you want to take your planning, and then rest of the execution and everything would follow from there. But this ability for generative AI and modeling, machine learning modeling, now to come up with some simulations, and you to take certain actions to see what these simulations can lead to, is going to be a game changer. And these are some of the capabilities being implemented within the planning solution called integrated business planning. And we are also working on areas where Joule would play a big role, because as I think Angel already hinted in the beginning, Joule would provide not just the access to the inherent SAP data, but also customer specific data, right? So we are also working on use cases where we could basically have Joule trained on SAP data, plus having certain customer data grounded in the for the chatbot, and it recommending certain scenarios or certain insights in terms of scenario planning, in terms of embedded insights, and so on. The other area which I think is going to be pretty exciting going forward for supply chain is manufacturing, and we are seeing a lot of enthusiasm from our manufacturing community in terms of what it could do from kind of visual inspection. I would say like visual inspection, like taking some of the data from which is available with the computer vision, but also merging it with additional data from like what manufacturing softwares and solutions produces, along with IoT data, right? The Internet of Things data, and then predicting or taking certain actions. And with generative AI capability, it can now summarize those actions in a nice way, create or take certain actions in terms of identifying where the bottlenecks are, and then resolving them pretty quickly, right? So that's another area which we are looking at, where issue is resolution, or issue identification and resolution, can happen pretty quickly with respect to the visual inspection. And then the whole non-conformance logging could be another area which can be impacted, right? Where the computer vision or the software which gets all this data can quickly identify where the issues are and take corrective actions in terms of logging non-conformance, taking or creating a quality issue, and basically triaging that. So those are some of the examples what we are looking at. Going forward, I think there's a whole, I think I already touched a little bit about the predictive analytics part of it, or sorry, predictive maintenance part of it, where we are heading towards with the predictive and automated maintenance. So again, all of these steps would take the supply chain process from running for multiple days and complex permutation and combination into much more streamlined duration, and even shorten the overall time frame for planning, for execution, and for delivery in the matter of hours, and then also be able to predict the different alternate futures or scenarios, which will be really really useful for our customers, right? And we are seeing for some of the areas like great improvement in terms of maintenance. I think the figures were somewhere around 35% improvement in predictive maintenance with regards to the corrective maintenance. And similarly for I think for planning, it was also, there was like a really good figure which I can't recall on top of my head, but it basically improves the overall process of demand planning and inventory planning by a great percentage, right? So, and these are customers who are already leveraging these capabilities, but as I said, now with Joule and capability of AI, we could basically expect a lot more of optimization going forward. So that's my quick take on that.
Quick take. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Raheem.
That was the quickest I could do.
But in all seriousness, thank you so much for the thorough breakdown. I'm sure a lot of people can appreciate, especially in the supply chain management and the fact that you mentioned manufacturing as well. So thank you so much for that. So as with anything, challenges always come about, especially in the world that we live in today with technology, and more specifically, there are challenges with AI and overcoming integration. Matt, I'm going to shoot this question to you first. What are some common challenges businesses face when integrating SAP Business AI with their existing systems, and how can they overcome these hurdles?
So just from some of my experiences, just getting the old system to talk to the new system, a lot of times it's just really clunky because the old system doesn't work. So you got to build those APIs and get that connection there, right? Because it all starts with clean data. And so if that data is not clean coming in, it's causing problems throughout the entire process. Another part is the governance of it. I mean, there's a lot of what is okay to put into AI, right? Can I put my HR reports in there, even though there's, confidential data? Is that allowed? There's no really guidance on that. SAP, I think, has a data quality management guide, which has been helpful. But still, it's kind of up to your best judgment and then going from there. So there's a lot of different aspects that are all playing into it, and that integration, and you're being pulled in multiple different directions. And it's double-edged sword because most of us, I think, know AI is better when it has more data to pull from, but then you have to keep that data clean coming in so that it can process it the way you want it to. But it's getting better at seeing those anomalies and detecting, oh, this is not good, and alerting you to it. So I think it's just a matter of time. As we work through it, it's going to evolve into something that's going to allow us to really trust it and start to depend on it more. But we're not quite there. We're getting those APIs and everything else set up, and then learning how to bring in the legacy data is going to be the next step, I think.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Rahit, what are some common challenges businesses are facing right now when integrating SAP Business AI with their existing systems?
And I think there's a variety of them. I think, and I agree with Matt. I think data by far is the biggest challenge which businesses are facing. It's not that like there's a scarcity of data. It's the opposite, right? There's too much data, and then businesses need to figure out what data is really meaningful. And I think we are past that discussion where the answer was just build a data lake, right? And then push your data there, and then we'll figure it out. I think those days are gone. And I'm glad that people are now understanding that data without a context is not meaningful, right? Like you need to know what the data is and what kind of data are you looking at. So the biggest problem, at least when we talk to our customers, faces what kind of data do we need for a particular scenario, and always have that end goal in mind. Like whatever you are trying to achieve, you have to have that singular goal, and then kind of backtrack from there and see what data is required to meet that goal, right? And not basically throw the data into the cloud and then figure out what you could do with that data. So I think that's basically a reverse direction which we are seeing now. And what customers are really looking at, or what the challenges which we are facing, is the data in multiple different sources, right? And I think this is the reality of life. I see Matt nodding there. It's the heterogeneous landscape, right? Where we have some data sitting in the cloud, some on-prem, some on legacy. And how do we bring all of this data to a singular place where you need to build the intelligence? So I think those are areas where, if we have to go forward with co-pilots like Joule and others, I think we need to have that extensibility capability or the extensibility features of these digital assistant or the technology to feed in the data from multiple sources in a kind of formatted manner, and then build intelligence on top of it. So I think the landscape and the context, in my view, matters a lot when we look at generative AI use cases there.
Yes, most definitely. And thank you so much for sharing that. Like you said, data alone, and gone are the days of just data alone. You need to have the context behind it. So thank you for sharing that. Angel, what about you? What are some common challenges businesses are facing, and how can they overcome these hurdles?
So I think Rohit and Matt took the first two, right? It's just data and a fragmented landscape is one of the main two issues. No, I'm gonna go with two more. First one, the consumption. So the fact that this is a technology that changes so fast, that brings value so fast, those customers that are not on the cloud in that delivery model where we can ship it automatically into their systems are going to be facing a consumption problem. It's very difficult to adopt when you stay on your ECC or even in on-premise. Something that, for example, I was mentioning earlier, a few use cases that we're delivering in Grow with SAP or public cloud. We just deliver it every 3 months, depending on how complex it is, maybe twice a year. So that delivery model for customer consumption, that level of stay on the latest innovation is just not possible if you're not on the cloud. So those customers that are not on the cloud, it's just going to be for them more difficult. They have to do upgrades and all those things. And then the second one, of course, is people and change management, because processes are data, but processes and data without people is just also is not going to work. So then these people that are now given a tool that can provide all these new innovations and accelerate all these processes and streamline and these things, if they're not well explained what's in it for them, then we will not see also the adoption by those end users and the value. So it has to be, we have to be able to ship these innovations, so mainly on the cloud, and we have to explain those end users what the value is for the organization and for them in particular, how is this making their work more efficient, why is this something that is easy to learn, easy to use, and actually helps them do their job. So I think those two things also have to be in the picture.
All right, thank you so much for sharing that. So let's move on to industries like manufacturing and retail, right? They have unique needs. Rohit, you've already mentioned manufacturing when we were tackling the supply chain question. So I'm going to address this to you first. Can you discuss how SAP Business AI addresses these with tailored solutions in regards to manufacturing and retail?
Sure. Yeah, and I think this is a great topic, because I think industries and industry solutions are always going to be relevant, right? No matter how good packaged software provides or serves the needs of any customer, there is always the nuances which the industry produces, right? So there's always going to be need for specific industry solutions, which basically serve that particular segment of the customer and then addresses those needs, right? So what SAP is doing is working on specific cloud solutions which are targeted towards specific industries. We call them industry cloud or industry innovations right now, and these are not a full-fledged solution by itself, and more than likely they are an extension of the business processes or satellite solutions which work in conjunction with the core, right, which we refer as S4. So the S4 still is industry agnostic to a certain extent, serves all different industries, but then you have these different solutions which are kind of circling around the core and working on a particular problem which that particular industry solves. So as you said, Monique, like if I have to pick mainly the industries with regards to retail or with regards to manufacturing, one of the common problems what we are seeing is the replenishment process, right? And especially with retail, I think it's a huge issue where replenishment itself takes a lot of time, be it like store level replenishment, distribution center replenishment, and so on. And that's where what SAP has done is come up with solution for intelligent replenishments. And what we are doing there is basically changing the way the demand calculation works from a current scenario, which is primarily order driven for a particular distribution center, for a particular store, and so on, and making it broader, taking in consideration more of the feeds from external factors, but also from the rest of the industry specific domains which the customers would have, right? Maybe it could be the point of sale data, it could be external factors with regards to the social trends and so on, and then working through the cycle on how the replenishment should be planned. And it could be that there are, based on certain machine learning algorithms and so on, you automatically know that for a particular product, there is another product which is more than likely to be picked as well. So these distribution and replenishment cycles can take all that product matching, product whatever the cross product linkages into consideration, and then plan replenishments automatically, right? So I see the whole replenishment process for retail industry would be a game changer with the newer industry specific replenishment. And also I think we are able to now bring with generative AI capabilities for catering much better to the KPI requirements which the industries would need, and most importantly I think how the information gets communicated throughout the chain, right, with the capabilities of Just Ask or Joule and so on. So I think that is one of the areas which I foresee could really help our retail customers and the industry there.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So based on time, we're getting close to the hour, and one of our speakers just let me know that they can only stay a little bit past 5 minutes. So I'm going to kind of jump around real quick. So bear with me here for the live audience, and then also those to you, Angel and Matt and Rahit. Okay, so the next question I'm actually going to address from the audience. Okay, so I'm going to go back and forth and possibly get as much as we can done here. The first question I'm going to ask, and thank you to Vinay Kumar. I apologize if I did not pronounce your name correctly. How does SAP integrate AI-driven chatbots and virtual assistants into its CRM platform to provide 24/7 customer service and support? Angel, would you like to address that question?
Sure. Yeah, we're doing that in multiple ways. No, we just, as I said earlier, it's use case by use case. No, for example, on service management, what we have is first translation bots that are translating the ticket, the incident, into multiple languages. We have another use cases that are taking that incident and summarizing it for the reader, for the processor, and which makes it very easier to understand, and that multiple tabs and fields in the system. And then the same way, the way around, the way when it goes back and forth between teams, is creating visibility also use case, so it gets updated, the person who raised the incident. So many ways to increasing or the efficiency or minimizing downtimes for those incidents. But again, it's a case by case basis. But definitely we have many of them out there, and we have many more coming regarding smart summarizations on that type of thing.
All right. Thank you so much for answering. Matt and Rohit, do you have anything to add in a very succinct manner before moving on to the next question?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Well, that means you did well, Angel, for answering that. So thank you so much. This next question, it's to all three of you. Angel, I'm going to go with you first, and then Rohit, and then Matt. We're going to talk about the future of SAP Business AI. As AI continues to evolve, what advancements can we expect from SAP Business AI in the coming years? All three of you have alluded to a lot and given us, some kind of tips there already about what's happening in the future. But, what advancements can we expect, and how should businesses prepare for this future?
Yeah. So the first one, I think, is we will continue. We are already there with Grow, with SAP. We continue into the suite model. So we will continue to make the SAP applications or solutions that are part of these end-to-end processes seamless, fully integrated, and seamless also for the user. And that is goes hand in hand with what we were mentioning earlier around data homogenization and having the same structure across solutions. Why? Because then these processes and data come together into the Gen AI, and then that's what provides us one single platform, in this case Gen AI SAP Joule, that is able to see across solutions inside for processes, across data structures, across these solutions, and then provide guidance and insights and propose actions the beginning to end of those processes to the users. So I think that's where we are going, and we do have already some processes in there, some use cases enabled in there in finance part, where we are also summarizing what is in a report. You run a report in financial report, and instead of just getting the classic table with revenue and cost, you are going to have Joule bringing it to natural language. What does this mean? And then Joule is going to say, well, that means that you are more profitable in these regions, less profitable in these regions. And then you can ask them, well, how is that compared to next year? And they're going to talk about trends. How can I invert the trends? So that is what is coming. I think that smart insight and that visualization of the raw data, if you wish, even if it's in a table, in a report, together with the concept of business suite, beginning to end, and data harmonization is, I think, where the focus is and where we're putting all our effort. So it's easy to consume through this new customer experience, which is SAP Joule.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Matt, is there anything you would like to add?
That was really great response, so not too much, but I would just say, yeah, we're moving towards where AI is going to become more cognitive automation. Systems are going to look at what you're taking in and be able to predict and then act on what data you're seeing, and I think it's going to be real exciting. It's going to be pretty cool, I think.
All right. Thank you so much. And then Rohit?
Yeah, I think both Matt and Angel, I think, covered most of it. The only thing which I can think of adding here is organizations should start acting now. I think it's definitely, so AI is here to stay, and I think we should, it's not just a technology trend, as we said, as we all know, it's also a change in the way the businesses would operate, right? So a lot of the customers, a lot of where we are doing the strategy workshop, I often tell to the customers, right, even if you are thinking about what the future could hold, you should start building a strategy right now, because we know that the way the business operates would change, but also the how you run your operations would change within the system, right? So you need to be ready with an organizational change management, also build certain ethics or whatever you would like to in terms of how you want AI to play in your ecosystem. And last but not the least, I think you should also start thinking of the scenarios which would be most impactful to you, because to get to that end state will take a couple of years, right? So I would say businesses should start acting now in terms of building a strategy and laying out a plan for forward.
All right, thank you so much. So we are actually going to conclude and stop here. In fact, a lot of the questions asked, thank you so much to the live audience, we pretty much addressed. So I think we did really well as far as the questions that we posed to each of you as panelists, but also to the panelists for being so thorough. A lot of the questions in the audience. So don't think we totally neglected you all, but please continue to ask those questions. And I encourage the panelists here to go into the event and address any of them if you have the time. But as we conclude today's panel, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our speakers, Angel, Matt, and Rohit, for their deep dives, and to our audience for their engagement. This event's recording will be available on the same LinkedIn live event page for those who missed it or wish to revisit these discussions. Today, our discussion has illuminated the transformative potential of SAP Business AI, from enhancing operational efficiency and decision-making to delivering personalized customer experiences. AI is enabling businesses to innovate and thrive in a competitive landscape. As you embark on your AI journey, remember that successful implementation begins with understanding your specific needs and aligning them with the right solutions. Whether exploring predictive analytics, process automation, or industry-specific applications, SAP Business AI offers the tools and insights to help you achieve measurable outcomes. Our team at Pronix Incorporated and SAP is here to support you in this journey, providing expertise and solutions tailored to your business objectives. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing how you apply these insights to drive innovation within your organizations, and we look forward to welcoming you to future events. Again, I'm Monique, and it's been a pleasure to be a host for today's event. Keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with SAP Business AI. Bye-bye now.